Hi there guys, thanks for joining us for a gaming night. Today we're going to have a look at Heroes of Tenefyr. This is by Broken Mill Games and designed by Pepin van Leeuwen. I hope I've said that right, Pepin. If not, apologies. Alright, so we're going to give you a brief overview of how the game works by going over a couple of the rules, and then we're going to show you some gameplay where we will play through a couple of rounds so you can see how the game flows and what sort of choices you get to make. And then at the end, we'll come back and tell you who won and what we think of the game. Just to show you, I have some friends with me. I have D, Gala, Molo, and myself, Jason. All right, so this is a deck building game, but a push your luck deck building game. Each player chooses a character. You get your character cards. So, for example, I'm the Bard, D's playing the Cleric, Carla's playing the Barbarian, and Molo is playing the Thief. Then each player will get 6 strike cards, which are ones, like that, and 6 miss cards, which are like this. They get shuffled into your deck with your character skill card. Each character skill card has a different type of skill. For example, my one allows me to make one player double their strength. Carla, for example, can draw extra cards, that sort of thing. Out here in front of us, we have the boss board. I'll come back to that in a second. And we have 10 dungeons randomly determined. So you've got 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s, and you've got some rewards underneath it. There's some more decks of cards in the box, which I've just put over here on the side because some cards will allow us to go through there and search stuff out. But what you're doing is you're putting 4 monsters, and this over here tells you the dungeon level. So this is level 1, this is the monster, and this is what the stat line is depending on how many players are playing. You've got 4 in each one. On your turn, we have to choose one of these dungeons to go to. So for example, we might go to that dungeon, and then we have to fight cooperatively, taking it turn by turn, playing 3 cards from the top of our deck, and then trying to match the numbers on the top there. So in a 4-player game, we need 6 damage to beat the slime. If I get 2 and D gets 1 on his turn, and then Carla gets 2 more, and then Mola gets the final blow, that'll mean that the slime is defeated, and then the slime will go into Mola's deck, and he will then have this ability, plus the red numbers, more damage to his deck. Obviously that doesn't do a lot, but for example, this gargoyle has a 2 damage card. And that's basically what you do. I don't think there's much else to say. Oh yeah, if you clear out a dungeon, you'll get the reward at the bottom. It's generally a choice of what you get to do. If you leave the dungeon voluntarily, i.e. by clearing out the whole dungeon, so all 4 monsters are defeated, or let's say you defeated 2 monsters and then decided to leave the dungeon anyway, then the boss monster will move once up on this track. If, however, we go into a dungeon and the monster defeats us, he will move up 2 spaces. And then obviously once he walks around and gets to the skull, we then have to do the boss fight. The boss fight is, there's 4 different types of bosses in the game. We've randomly determined it's the Spider Queen. There's 4 cards, it gets randomly shuffled, and then we fight. Once we've reached the boss level, we have to go through the whole stack in one go, defeating all of them one at a time. And if we win, we defeat the Spider Queen, we win. If we don't defeat it, we lose. And that's pretty much it. I think the
last thing to mention is probably about the deck, about the fact that obviously if you run out, so you obviously, if you mulligan and choose to keep on getting another 3 cards and you're going through a dungeon, you could get to a stage where you're exhausted and you've got no cards in your deck. That means you cannot participate in the relevant fight as well. So you can't contribute. About not pushing your luck too much, just try and get big damage on one turn.
So basically what it comes down to is on our turn, we're going to go into a dungeon, try and defeat monsters, upgrade our decks, and then once the boss reaches that point there, we fight, see if we can beat her. If we do, we win. If we don't, we lose. And that's that. So we'll come back in a minute with the gameplay, and then I'll obviously make more sense on what the mechanics are like, and we'll try and explain as we're playing to show you what sort of decisions you get to make. So see you in a minute. Alright folks, you joined us for the gameplay section. We've had a couple of rounds, as you can see over there. We've cleared out the first 2 level 1 dungeons, and we're about to choose where we're going to go for our third dungeon delving situation.
Did we forget to move that forward when we cleared second dungeon?
Oh, yeah, we've got to move that one more space. So because we voluntarily left, that moves on one space. We're playing the easy level, as I said earlier. So he's up to over there. He's actually only just reached the normal level now. Alright, so basically what we're going to decide now is where we're going into for the next dungeon. And I think as a group, we're thinking of deciding to go to this one over here. The main reason is we can obviously see that the defense of the slime is an 8, where the ogre over here is a 10, and then it just gets exponentially higher from there. And we don't feel we're up for that just yet. So we're going to go in there. We haven't even worried about the reward. We're just looking about what we can defeat at this point.
What we think we can actually beat up.
Yeah. So we're going to go with the slime. And Carla's the first player. So she will make the first choice.
Okay, so decided on the dungeon. So I will draw my first 3 cards. Which is a basic 0, which is just nothing.
A miss.
A miss. 1 attack value. And my barbarian skill, which allows me to draw an additional 3 if I choose to play these. And I think I'm going to do that. So anybody?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, it was worked out for us in the previous round when you went first and got that.
Well, I just think later on my barbarian skill will be pretty much useless anyway, so I might as well use it. So I'll draw 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so you got 2
So
strength.
Contributed, yeah, 2 strength to defeating.
And we need 8. So let's go over to the Molo.
Right, I am the thief, and I am going to stab up that slime, which probably won't do much to it as it's slime. Right, there you go. Training, I can remove card, don't have discard pile yet.
Well, first you got to draw your 3 cards
Oh yeah, try.
to see if you want to keep these.
Ah,
So you got a strength of 2 as well.
so that's going to be 4 damage we've done to it, which means you two will also have to do 2 damage each.
I think we could probably handle that. What do you think? If one of us gets 3, that'd be handy.
Yeah, that's you.
Oh.
I mean, I think it's worth a risk. I think kind of getting 3 is a really good turn. Getting 2 seems to be a useful turn.
Okay, I will stick with it. I will.
Obviously, the training allows him to remove a card from his discard pile, but he doesn't have any. But at least he's got 2 strength to go with Carla's 2 strength. So that comes over to me. And then I have to at least match theirs. So far, I've got 2.
Oh, and what does? Oh, there's no ability.
Nothing. It just says when punching just doesn't cut it. That's the flavor text. So I think I'll keep that as well. And then it's over to you, D. You need to get 2. So obviously the decision you have, yeah, is just keep going until you get 2.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, we didn't have to worry about that too much, did we?
That's dead easy, isn't it?
So what happens is the person who kills the monster, does the death blow, will get to keep the card. I just want to show them quickly. We'll come back to the slime's ability in a minute. But this is what now will be added to D's deck. You can see it says weaken. It's got a 1 damage. And if you continue in this dungeon, the next enemy gets -1 power. It's pretty good. Unfortunately, it does have an ability which is at the end of the combat, the player who defeated this enemy must remove one of the cards they played this combat round.
I know, yeah. As there are only damages.
Yes.
Over there. That gets replaced with that one.
Yeah. And obviously that's 1 monster out of the dungeon dead. So now the first player will move on to Molo. And now we have to decide, do we want to continue to push down into this dungeon? There are 3 more monsters left over here. Or we can choose to leave, which will reshuffle our decks and move the Dungeon Lord up 1 space.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to stay, aren't we?
Yeah, it seems like we should stay.
Alright, so we get to see what it is. It is a Goblin Scout.
Ooh.
If you continue in this dungeon, the next enemy in this dungeon gets +1 power.
Ooh, interesting.
Right, I will. Yeah. Oh, I got stabbed a goblin. Right.
In case you're wondering why he's complaining, he's got an affinity for goblins.
Yeah. go.
You're stabbing a family member.
You don't need to play a 3 to decide whether or not you're going to do it.
Oh, true. Yeah, there you go.
Is this your discard pile?
Okay.
I mean, in
Double
fairness, it's
power.
not like you've had any other turns before this one to get used to that.
There you go. Well, have a quick look through there. That seems to make sense to build that one back in. Okay, so I will keep this because I can double the power with that one, and then bring another one in, so do 3 damage and remove that 0 from my discard pile at the same time.
Okay, so just to show what he's doing, because he hasn't. This one allows him to go to his discard pile and return 1 card to his hand. This one allows him to double one of the cards he has in play, so he's doubling this 1 to a 2. And that one allows him to return or remove 1 card from his discard pile from the game, which is getting rid of one of these 0 powers. Your deck's pretty lean by now, as you've got 2 of those trainings in your deck.
I don't think I have any 0s apart from these ones left now.
Oh,
So,
that's
yeah.
really handy. And this also means you contributed 3 to this fight. And we only need 3 more. It's unlikely that I will get that 3, but you never know. So let's see what I get. I've got a 1, a 2, so that's 3. So I can indeed get it.
Wait, you did 3 damage?
Yeah. I've got a bash and a basic. Okay, so unfortunately the goblin has to die.
Oh, poor
Which
thing.
means, just so you can see, obviously they didn't use their cards yet, so that means they get to keep the cards for the next round. That's a way of preserving cards, because obviously once you run out of cards, you become exhausted. First player goes to me, and do we want to continue?
Just remember that Goblin Scout will add +1 to his strength if we continue in this dungeon.
Yeah. So if, for instance sake, if it comes up with the ogre, which it could do, the ogre will be 11. I feel like we should carry on.
I feel like because the lowest number is still 10 anyway, I feel like we've seen some 6s and some 8s, even if that was another +1 to it. Yes, there's a chance it could be really, really horrible, but...
Let's see what it is. It's a stone golem. Oh my god.
Sounds horrible.
It's a 12, so it's going up to a 13.
Easy.
And it says during their play step, each player may draw 2 extra cards and then discard 1 card from their choice from their hand.
Okay.
So we get extra cards. Alright, I'm the first player. So let's see what I get. I've got
5 cards and then you can discard 1.
0s. And then I've got my bard skill and a surprise attack. If you're the starting player, you may draw 1 extra card. So first of all, I've got to decide, am I keeping these?
So if you do, you would discard 1 of the 0s.
Oh no, this is my play step, so I've already chosen to keep these.
No, you haven't. Is this...
Play step, yeah.
Okay, so your first 3 cards would have been the 0s.
Yeah. Alright, no, you know what, I'm going to keep it, screw it.
That
So,
makes sense. You've got only 2 cards left, so getting another hand would be a bit naff.
yeah, so,
So you've drawn your extra 2 from the golem.
Yep.
You need to discard 1 of your cards.
Yep.
Discard 1 of the 0s.
is it,
Yeah, because you're in your hand. You haven't played them yet.
so I'll discard that 0, and then, because I'm the first player of my surprise attack, I get to draw another card. Alright, so I've got 2 strength, 2 0s, and I got my bard skill. My bard skill allows me to discard 2 cards to give someone else 2 power.
So you've got 2 zeros
What's
there,
it-
which you
isn't
can
it double
discard.
their power?
Not,
rather than
I
just
discard
2?
from the top of my deck.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
Isn't the bar double? rather
yeah,
than just
double,
2?
yeah. Who am I going to give that to? And if,
I think I'm the most likely to consistently get.
Yeah, I almost wouldn't choose me.
yeah,
'Cause I've already got rid of
I agree with that.
and you've used
3
your
ones.
your skill already.
I have, and I don't have any additional cards, so
Okay, I'm going to choose Molo.
Okay.
So I'm going to ditch. He gets rid of a 1 and another 1, of course.
oh, lovely.
So I'm contributing 2 and I'm doubling yours, Molo.
Okay.
And we need 13 altogether.
Right, so I draw my 3 first. So I can keep that, and if I do,
Then you get to
I
draw
draw
2
2
more.
cards, discard 1. We still got 1 more to go through on this dungeon.
I think with the Barbarian and Jason's cards gone, we may well be leaving anyway, so it might be worth having a pop.
It's true. I've only got 1 card left in my deck, so
Exactly.
I won't be contributing much to the next
So I
fight.
reckon do another one then?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to basically do a mulligan, so I can discard all 3 of those.
So this is where the push your luck in the game comes.
I'll go for these 3 0s instead.
And
They
It
are
is
3
3 zeros.
Right, so
How many cards you got left? Because you don't want to.
1, 2, 3.
Because you've
4,
got 2 more
5.
now if you stick with this.
So I could go again and basically draw those 5 cards. So I know.
What does the kobold do?
The kobold's going to allow me to search your deck for one card and put it into my discard pile, and then I can draw an extra card.
So basically, if you have any zeros in your deck, you could get rid of it.
2, 3. And I think I've got 2 zeros in there.
I think you should keep this.
I think I should keep that as well. Right, so I am going to keep it. So the first thing I do is I draw my extra 2 cards. Nice. Then I discard a card from the golem. Then I can do this to search for a card and put it into my discard pile.
Have you got any zeros? Yeah.
Then I need to shuffle those.
Was those 2 basic ones?
One's a 1, one's a 0. So, Milo, left or right?
Left.
So I draw that one. Excellent. So that's that done. I've got my cleric skills. If I'm a cleric, each other player may shuffle up to 2 cards of their choice from their discard pile into their deck.
Well, I'm definitely using that bash.
Very useful one.
Alright, I'll put these 2 in my deck.
I feel like you should have doubled my
Basic
attack
cards,
here.
right?
No, not basic cards, just 2 cards
Okay,
of
so I
choice.
can...
Then I get +3 power if I have 3 or more 0 basic cards in my discard pile.
Right.
So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6 attack.
Plus the 2 I had, which is
Right.
8.
So if you'd double mine, we would have just killed him now, wouldn't I?
I know, yeah. I wasn't really to know that you're going to have some sort of
I mean-
awesome turn.
I didn't think I could do that. Right, so that's me. So I've done 6 damage. So we're up to a total of 8.
Alright, so Carla, you need 5 more.
So...
Actually doing alright, yeah.
Whoa. Definitely keep that. 'Cause
Yeah.
then you're going to draw 2 extra cards because of the golem.
Yep. Okay, so...
Another one.
And then discard 1 of them. Probably the 0. Do 4 damage. So that's on 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
What's going on?
Molo, you need to
Do
you
one.
do half a damage because it's doubled because of Jason's.
Yeah.
There it is. Have I got any zeros I can get rid of? I got nothing I can get
You've
rid
got
of.
2 zeros right there.
I know,
but
but I
it's on
can't get rid of
discard
them.
pile, isn't it?
Okay.
You can actually draw 2 more cards though, and then you get to discard 1, which you can then KO with your train.
True, yes. There we
So
go.
2 more cards.
Well,
And
there we go.
discard 1 of them.
I'll discard that 0 and then remove
Then
it
you
from
can
the
use a
game.
train to remove it.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not sure if it's a wise idea. Is it just 0 cards you can get rid of?
Remove a card of your choice.
Okay. Well, if you wanted to, you could at this point remove a 1 as well, because then you're just buying into your specialist cards. But
No,
I'm
'cause-
not sure whether that's
No,
a
I don't
good
think
idea.
that's a good
especially
idea.
2 of my specialists are zeros as well.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
Well, you've beaten the golem, Molo.
Yay.
So you got the headbutt ability. You may draw 1 extra card and then discard 1 card of your choice from your hand and
Nice.
get 2 strength.
Well, that seems pretty good.
All right, so that ends that round. First player will go to D. Everyone discard the cards. Now we have to decide again, do we want to fight that last creature? I'd like to point out, thanks to D's clerical ability, I've actually got 4 strength in my deck now.
Okay. I have 0 strength.
I have 1.
I probably have 5. I'm not sure, given how many
Unless
zeros
it's
I've
stop.
turned out.
Okay, Karen.
Yeah, I probably have 5.
So we could potentially push it.
So that's 10. We're saying we've got 10 damage.
Yeah. And it might not be a big one. I feel like we should push it.
Alright. Sure, let's do it.
Okay.
All right, let's see what we got. It's a zombie! And
Oh,
he's
he's
got
big-ish.
12.
12.
Oh, God.
Each basic 0 card gets +1 power.
Oh,
Interesting.
well, you've definitely got something to do.
Well, I've got 1 power then.
Yep, there we go. That's all the cards you got. So I'm pretty sure you're not going to push.
Okay.
Carla, what you got?
2 0. Oh, yeah. Barbarian card, wasn't it?
So you got 2 as well.
Okay, so we're up to 3.
Come on, Mola. You need to get
Oh,
at
good
least
skill.
Draw 3.
Ah,
See what happens first.
okay. That leaves me with 2 cards.
So what does the thief do?
you can get a card from a level 2 dungeon from the reserve.
Oh, but you have to discard a card to do
Yeah.
it.
So actually,
well,
just
I can
this-
just discard the
That's
thief
2, 3, 4, 5. And I said I could do 4. It puts us on 9, so we're still 3 short.
Well, these are only 1s. My card is just a lot of 1s. That's my entire deck.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to do so. I think you
But
should.
do they have special abilities on the ones that do something else?
No, I think all of my special abilities are in the deck now.
Okay.
I think you should use this then, because at
Well,
least
yeah,
you get a card
I'll
from this.
definitely use that anyway because
So
he's
Well, it's
not.
not anyway.
Just
It's,
read out exactly what it does.
If you're the thief, you may discard one card from your hand, take one random dungeon card from the reserve of the same level, of the same dungeon level as the current dungeon, and place that card in your discard
So
pile.
you have to discard one of your ones.
Which will, no,
Sure, you've got to play.
Yeah,
that to
you
be
play
able to do
there,
it.
and then discard
So you
another
have to play
card.
that to discard one of your ones from your hand.
Ooh. Okay, right.
I mean, we're not defeating him anyway, so,
So,
it's
yeah.
Yeah.
Then you gain one of those and goes to your discard pile.
Right.
I
Okay,
think
and then
4.
Jason. So we are currently on
Interesting.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
So can you do 8 damage?
No, I cannot. In fact, I just realized I can, because I've only got 3 cards. I've got 4, and I may look at the next dungeon card in the current dungeon, but there isn't any. So I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're 4 short. The zombie has kicked us out. So all that represents is basically he stays there. We don't get the reward, and this moves up 2 spaces. As I don't know, he gets told that there's some people running around in the dungeons causing trouble or something.
Maybe
We
that
just take that long to get out. He's moved 2 spaces forward.
big
in that
boss is
time.
coming.
All right, and that is the end of the round. So now we reshuffle our decks and get to choose another dungeon. All right, so where are we thinking of going next? I mean, we could go back to this one, but there's only one creature there, so it means we go there. We have to then try and beat it, and if we get the reward, this will move on 1 more space.
And then we have to go out again.
Yeah.
Well, the other deck that's at level 2 we know is going to have 5 cards. As
Yeah,
well.
because the little frightened goblin went there.
So do you guys want to...
you guys didn't see it on the video because that happened in one of the level 1 dungeons.
Yeah.
So do we want to skip through to a level 3?
No,
I
I think take on the ogre.
I would like the Minotaur.
I think take on
No,
the ogre.
no, that Minotaur seems alright. I was just leaving him alone.
But that ogre that's the 5 card. And you think we can do that?
Well, I don't think the goblin's going to be
What's
tough. at
the
end.
reward for this?
It might just run off again.
You may put 1 card from your choice from your deck on
It
top
might
of your
do.
deck, or you may remove 1 card of your choice from your deck, and you may put up to 2 basic cards of your choice from your deck into your discard pile.
I don't think it's worth going back for 1, especially when that deck and then that card I don't think is that beneficial.
No.
All right, then fine. So we're going to go to the ogre. Is everyone agreed?
Okay.
Right, let's kick his ass.
All right. That means Carlo, you're the first player, and the ogre has 10 health.
Okay, so it's a brilliant start. So I have 2 in hand.
So that means the rest of us need 8.
So to be fair, unless I get 3 or my barbarian card, I don't think I'll get a huge amount more.
Okay. Well, we'll stick with that then. Yeah.
So that means you guys have to do much better.
Good starting point.
All right, Mr. Molo,
Okay.
what you got?
2, you may draw 1 extra card and then discard one of your choice.
Don't do that yet.
No,
Obviously, draw
obviously,
3.
I'll just sort of read out what it does. Okay.
So you're at 3 at the moment.
3 and you're drawing an extra card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I should stick with that, get the extra card, see what happens. Okay, right. Although, what is that going to be? So
So
that's,
just to point out, what we're doing this open face so that you guys can see this. Technically, this would be in his hand, and then he would play them in order because he's obviously going to draw a card and discard a card. He'll most likely discard this one, so that's not technically played. Keep that in mind. The way we're playing it is just we're keeping it open on the table so that you can see it and that we can see it. Okay, go for it.
okay, right. So I will keep those and there we go. Draw a card and discard one. There we go.
All right, so you're on 4,
6.
6.
So I only need 4 more.
4 more.
Hey D, you might be getting a card,
No, I might get 10.
unless of course I draw 4 here and murder this ogre. So we got a 1. And I got another 1 and another 1. So that's in my hand. I'm gonna discard this and go again. No, I'm joking. So I've got 3. Carlos got 2 is 5. Plus your 4 is 9. You need 1 D.
Let's go for a poke to the eye.
Don't mess this up.
0.
Yay!
0.
Oh my god.
0. Oh,
To be fair,
Push
that's
again.
not such a bad thing. That means he's removed that from his deck now.
1.
But now he's gonna get 3 1s when he only needs.
0.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
That's enough for me.
All right, you get the ogre.
Ogre down, which gives me a smash. Demolish to dust.
So now you can stop complaining about not getting any extra cards.
Smash!
Alright, are we sticking here to go into the next round?
First five moves on to Molo.
I think so. I feel fairly confident about this.
Alright, let's see what it is. It is another one of these.
Upside down, guys.
So the Golem. This is the one where after you've chosen your 3 cards, you get to draw 2 more and discard 1.
Okay.
After you've decided to keep.
Alright, Milo.
Okay. Do. Okay, well that's a lot of ones.
You got
So
a
I can
0
get,
in your
yeah, I got a 1 there. In fact, I've got a 2.
So you're going to keep that hand?
Yeah, I'll keep that. Bring the 2 out using recover.
So you're going to play those, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that'll make that 4. Right.
Do
So
you not
far,
have to do what
Doesn't-
he does first?
I don't know actually which way around. Does
Yeah,
it go?
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Let's do things in the order of the game, how it should be played.
So-
So first thing you're doing is, are you choosing to keep those 3 cards?
Yes.
Yes. So now what you can do is, because of the Golem, you can draw 2 additional cards.
Yep.
Now you discard 1 of your 5 cards.
Okay, I will discard this one because
Okay.
I have a plan.
okay.
Now you play cards 1 by 1.
Okay, so recover. I'll bring this card out using
Mhm.
recover. Training, remove 1 card, which I'll get rid of that, probably the last 0, hopefully. Or the last normal 0.
Don't forget the Golem has to discard a card as well, yeah?
Oh, yeah, has that not happened yet?
We haven't played it yet, because at the moment, that's all you've played.
Okay, right, I thought I got rid of that one. For the
No,
golem.
the Golem you
that
took...
was-
Yeah.
So that was because when you fight a Golem,
Yeah.
his ability says during their play step,
Oh, okay.
each player may draw 2 cards and then discard 1 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you've got this, which then allows you to do what that
Oh,
does as
that
well.
right. Sorry, yeah. Okay, right. Dull. Okay, so there we go. Training, remove another card. Probably not going to bother with that. That's
I
1.
mean, you could. Do you need to discard a card to play this one?
Yeah.
So why don't you discard that card to
Oh,
play
yeah.
that?
Okay, that makes sense. There we go. Okay, so that's 3. And hidden potential allows me to double, so I'll double that one to make it 5. And then I'll do that one's ability where I can pull and discard. Ooh.
I mean,
No,
you
you've
just
done
discard.
it.
You just
did.
You just
Yeah.
discarded the card, but
Oh,
you
yeah,
haven't
sorry.
drawn a new one, have you?
No. Okay. Right, so we'll draw the new one, which is teamwork. One player may choose a card from their discard pile and put it into another player's discard pile.
Another player's discard
Another
one.
player's discard pile.
I've got 3 1s.
Does it have to?
Actually, maybe you should give someone a
that's what I was
training.
thinking.
I mean, I'd have. Actually, I don't want
You want the 0s,
Actually,
maybe you should give it to Carla.
Okay, there we
Thank
go.
you.
Alright, so where are we at? So how much... You were the first
So
player.
this is all his first turn.
Okay,
And
I've done 6 damage.
6. And how much did we need? 12.
12.
Right.
And
So-
that was a lesson as to why you play your cards in the right way.
Right, so we'll quickly do...
Oh, wait.
Mine's 3 0s, but it does have my bard skill. I think I might ditch this.
Got to be careful about ditching as well at this point, because we know there's 5 cards within this.
Yeah. I am going to draw another 2 if I keep this.
Just out of curiosity, does that double somebody's total attack?
Total power, yeah.
I mean, what's my one? 6.
Yeah, it could make it to
That
12.
would then immediately defeat him.
Yes, good point. But then the card would come to me as I'm there.
Sure. I don't see an issue with that happening.
Okay. If you guys are happy with that, so I'm going to draw 2.
Isn't it ditch 2 from the top of your deck, isn't it?
No, wait, this is still that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
him,
so drawing that. And then I will play the bard's ability. Flipping
It
it.
says May, so you don't have to draw those 2.
I did it anyway.
And
Actually,
then
I suppose you're right, yeah, I shouldn't have.
It's not a good thing. It's a bad thing.
No, it just made me think about it now. Yeah, but anyway, okay, so I've doubled your strength.
Mhm.
Which
So
is
then plus your
2.
2 strength that you've got there. What is the new card that you drew then?
You may look at the next dungeon card in the current dungeon. That's pretty handy.
Might want to do that.
So I'll take that and then have a look.
I mean, it's a cooperative game, so he could just tell us everything that's on it if he really wants to.
It is an ogre.
Or the first one.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know that's a 10.
All right. And that guy defeated. Do we want to fight the ogre next?
So that moves to you.
I got 4 cards, so I'm not going to add much to this next round.
That might change
Everybody else has
if I
saved
get
cards.
my card.
Yeah.
That's where you discard pile to your deck before you draw as well. So
I've got 6 still left.
I think it's worth.
Alright, fine.
Oh my god, it's an ogre.
Surprising.
We hadn't planned for this.
Is it just a 10?
Yeah.
No special abilities.
Right, what's I've got? I've got a slash, a surprise attack. If you're the starting player, draw 1 extra card. Oh, that's really handy. Second time in a row that's happened.
It's ridiculous. Last game I played, I had that card in hand pretty much from the get-go.
And
And never, ever.
Were you the first player?
And we were playing 2 players. So,
Okay, so I got 2. Over to you, D.
Isn't... Oh no, that's the rock golem.
Right, I'll draw my 3. I mean, that looks pretty good. So I think I'll keep that. I have a 0. I've got the comeback. So it's 1 power. I get +3 power if I've got 3 or more 0 cards in my discard pile. So it gives me 4 power. And then I use my cleric. If I'm the cleric, each other player can shuffle up to 2 cards of their choice from their discard pile into their deck.
Right.
Oh, that's handy. I'm going to put these 2 2s back in my deck. To go with the other 2 cards I had in my deck.
Okay, and they get shuffled back into your deck. So I've got a total of 4 power.
I had
On top of
2.
yours, so that's 6. So you only just got to do 4 more damage to the ogre.
it's any card, yeah, not basic.
Any 2 cards.
Alright, Carla, can you get 4 damage on your turn?
I don't know. I mean,
And this
That's
episode
the
is
spirit.
sponsored by Lipton Iced Tea. It's not.
I'm not,
Just
sure, I'm not sure if you can do that. Seriously, Lipton, if you're reading this.
yeah.
It's done now.
Give-
They owe
give
us
me-
money.
Give me a call.
well, that wasn't enough.
Well,
What are we
Molo's still
on?
got
I've
to
still
go.
got a 10.
Okay, but
So
what are
need
we
2
on?
more, that would make us 8.
Yeah. So we need 2 more from Molo.
Yeah, do that.
Are we doing that?
Yeah.
Well, we are fighting. it,
Unless you
rather
want to go again.
Do
Then.
you feel that you can get 4 in one turn at the moment?
I don't know. I mean, if I get my skill, then probably. But
But
that will
it's
also
quite a few
mean,
cards to...
yeah.
Alright, so Molo,
Oh.
you need 2.
Think about it though. At the same time, once you've got down to a few cards, your skill's not worth shit.
It's true, but it's one of those things where
I
we've
also
still
feel-
got
Go.
so many left.
Going back to one of the original points as well, is the fact that there's an extra card in there.
Mm.
We want to make sure we don't mulligan and get new
No,
cards
true.
too often. So
Yeah.
I think we should probably keep that and then hope you do at least 2 damage.
Okay.
If you don't, you're going to get 2 damage to your nose.
Well, it's
Oh,
already done
lovely.
it.
Okay.
You got another one of those golems.
I
Oh,
know,
you
that
shuffled
was
it in, yeah.
Back in. Okay, so that's 4 damage. Then discard 1 card of your choice. So I can just draw and discard, but I don't think I have to. That's
No.
me. So I'm not
Don't
going
make,
to.
don't make the mistake I did.
Right, okay,
Right.
Alright, so you,
Ogre
you
down.
Right, and then the decision comes, do we want to continue?
First player moves to me.
Right. I have 3 cards. One is definitely my ability, which is a 0. And the other ones I presume are damage. I think I'm all out of natural 0s.
I think I've got 5 damage between my last 4 cards. But obviously I can't draw all 4.
Yeah, I reckon we should still go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we know the goblin is the last one.
And he might just run away anyway, which will empty the dungeon.
We've got a little imp. 26. At the start of the combat, each player shuffles 2 basic 0 cards from their discard pile back into their deck.
Well, that's annoying.
I don't have any.
I only have 2. I mean,
So
that's
that-
annoying.
So I've got 6 cards now, of which 3 of them are 0s, and the other 3 are 2s.
Well, let's see what we got. That's interesting. So I've got 1 attack. I know another one of those is a 0.
We only need 6 to beat this dude.
Yeah. I think. Right, so if I think I've got 2 1s, a 0, and something else there.
What's in your hand? Is that your discard pile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, I'm just looking for my discard pile
I
to see
mean,
what I've got.
we can definitely beat that.
I think because it's a 6, I'm going to happily just leave it on 1 damage.
Hopefully we have enough for the goblin afterwards as well.
That's why I kind of leaving cards, so I potentially, if we haven't got enough between you guys, I can come back and hopefully finish it off if need be. So yeah, that's me done.
Can you go back? I don't...
No, he
Well,
means
as in-
for
as in
the
next round.
Oh,
There's
right, I
another
see.
card afterwards.
Okay, well, that's a great start.
Ooh.
Okay, well, that's not too bad. So, I am probably going to play that.
okay.
So you can use your
So,
barbarian.
my barbarian.
Do you want to use your training first just to get rid of your zeros? The
I
barbarian
don't
doesn't
have
do
any
doesn't have any.
zeros,
Oh yeah, of course.
which is the problem.
It's not a problem. It's not
I
ideal,
mean-
but
It's not great.
There they are. So that's another 3 to your 1. It's a 4.
Four.
So 4. So it only requires 2.
Mm.
Okay, right, time for me to steal another card from you people. Okay. Oh, thief skill.
I mean, you're surprised, even though you told us before that you
Oh, yeah.
definitely had that.
I forgot I put that back in as well. But that probably means this is a 1, which I'll just double with this.
If it's a 0, I'm going to laugh my ass off.
It's a 1. In fact, do you need the card more? 'Cause
No.
I can just leave it as 1. Otherwise, yeah, I'll just do it then. Okay, I'll use the thief skill. Get rid of.
What's Dungeon
Guardian
Devil
card
with?
to
Can't,
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you either have to use the thief skill or you have to.
I mean, do you think you can definitely do at least 1 damage?
Oh, yeah.
Because if you can, you could discard the rat card to gain something
Yeah,
better.
that's what I was thinking
Because
of.
we're in a level 2, so you'd get a new level 2 card.
Yeah.
Do 1 damage, and Jason's got to do 1, and then he will gain a card.
Yeah,
I don't.
I
Think
mean,
that's, I don't think that's a bad idea.
Unless I draw the 3 zeros,
Yeah,
I should
well,
be
But
alright.
then you can just mulligan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
And then
Yeah,
I'll have
go
5 damage to kill that one.
Let's do that then.
Yeah.
Well, what level are we on? 2.
So you are doing it. So you're keeping that. So you're then playing that to then discard that card.
You could
So
choose
you
one of
gain
these.
those, which goes to your discard pile.
What did you
And
get?
then you've done 1
Backstab.
damage.
+2 power against the boss.
Useful.
Mm.
Right. So then he's currently up to 5 damage.
Uh-huh.
And Jason goes for the poke to the eye.
Come on, don't draw all my big ones now. So there's a bash,
Well, he's dead.
a 0, good. Oh, god damn it, headbutt.
Guess just take him down. Don't do anything else.
Yeah.
That means you're 2 damage on your next turn. And it is just the goblin there. How confident is everybody feeling about stepping on that guy's
I mean,
head?
can we
don't-
can we remember how much the goblin
I
was?
don't know how much he was, but
I
feel like
I've got, I'm pretty sure, a 1 and 2 zeros left.
Oh. Well, I can't contribute anything.
I don't remember what I've got left. One.
If we could kill him, then we obviously get the reward.
it's totally worth just going for it. You've got 1 damage. I'm pretty sure that half of mine are 1 damages. So I'm pretty sure I've got 2 1s. I can't remember what my 4th card. I know I've got 2 1s and a 0. And then something else.
He can't be that strong either because he's a level
Yeah.
1 card.
Level 1 card. He's a cowardly goblin. I'd imagine to be like toughness of 4 or
I
something.
have a
Roid
suspicion
could-
I can only contribute 1
He's a
if I've
6.
worked it out right.
Okay.
So he doesn't just run off again.
No, it's only if he's in the level 1 dungeon.
Okay.
Right, let's do it.
Okay, so just typical.
So just
It's
mulligan.
fine,
Yeah.
yeah, because
Oh, that 1 is better than those 3 zeros.
that's what I said. I can only contribute a 1, so
Mana has no cards.
Oh my god.
Contribute.
Alright, well then, over to me.
well, it's
And
only 5 that you need to do.
I'm only going to have 1, so it's up to D to get 4.
Well, backfired. 1.
Fancy
Okay.
count.
1, 2, 3. Adjusting. So I've got 2.
Doesn't that make it -1 power?
the next?
Oh, the
continue
next
in this
one.
dungeon. So if I keep that, I can search my deck for 1 card and put it in a discard pile, and then I may draw. You may draw an extra card.
But you
Okay.
don't have one.
So I'm gonna use that. I may search my deck for a card and put it to my discard. I'm not going to. I may draw an extra card. I will.
You're hoping it's a 2.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We one short.
Oh.
Molo!
Hey! I was outside.
Okay,
I was on my
so we're on
break.
5. So we, beat up all these golems,
Ogres
and
and
these
yeah. And we get stuffed up by a cowardly goblin. Okay, so what happens is basically it's not the end of the world. It's we've failed to beat him as we did with the zombie the last time. So we get kicked out, we don't get the reward, and the boss moves up 2 spaces. And there you go. That's another. So shuffle our decks
That's another round.
pick another reward area to go to. I think you guys get the general gist of how that works now. We're going to keep going until the boss reaches that skull. Then we ignore these dungeons anymore, and we go straight to a fight with the Spider Queen. So we will see you after our victorious victory over the Spider Queen.
We'll see you while we're dead here.
Yeah. All right, so we have finished off the game, and we have defeated the Queen, Spider Queen. It was a tough old fight, but we managed to knock her down and her right-hand man, and we have won. All right.
Hurrah!
So that's Heroes of Tenefyr from Broken Mill Games. Let's have a chat with the guys, see what they thought. D.
Chosen first.
What do you think, my man?
What do I think? I think it is. I think it's interesting because obviously they've kind of tried to make a dungeon bash game, but made it into a deck builder. But I feel there was a couple of issues that kind of cloud my judgment on the game. I do like the fact that it is kind of cooperative in the sense that there's some decisions where you can pass cards to each other, and you can, like with me using the cleric, I feel like my character was built obviously more to be cooperative than your guys, because mine was all about healing you guys, getting cards back so you can then use them. So
Well, kind of like mine, because I was the bard, so I was making people more stronger when singing my little song.
Singing a little song in your lute. So yeah, I felt like there was that cooperative nature, and I think that I did actually quite like that part where they intermingled with each other as well.
Is it like throwing a coin to my barbarian?
Not tossing any coins to witches. I think the individual characters, I kind of feel like R2 very much felt that they were trying to help other people while trying to do a little bit of damage. We weren't the big hitters. The barbarian should have been the big hitter. It didn't seem to pan out in that game, but I'll move on to that in a second. And then the thief character was very much a case of became a bit of an absolute animal when it comes to fighting people, but that kind of because of the selfish nature of a thief, because he kept on getting cards which allowed him to go and search for another one using his thief card, which then made him more powerful and more powerful. And then the problem that came up is, because the thief was then becoming more powerful and more powerful each and every time, that means he almost all the time dealt the killing blow, which means he then got that new card and added it to the deck, while we were doing the little bit of the monkey work to start with, and then he was getting the benefit. And only did it start to slightly come full circle when you got cards which allowed you to divvy some out with, like the teamwork card, for example. So I kind of feel like on some people's turns, it's just very much a case of, I'll do this basic rubbish and just hope you guys can kind of do the rest, which can be a big downside when a game is not a 45-minute hour game, and you're just churning your way through. And I'm not sure about time count on that one. I know obviously we had a bit of a break in between filming some of the turns as well, but it's still, that's like a 3-hour game, 4-hour game. I think that probably took, and I feel like obviously there were some distractions and some rules checking and stuff that we did as well, but I feel like for what the game should have been, I kind of feel like it went on a bit too long for my liking.
Well, it says on the box 60 minutes, but
yeah,
I think on
not-
average
yeah.
you're looking at 2 hours. I think.
Yeah, I think it was. I can't see how you could do that game in 60 minutes. If I'm honest, unless you're literally just going into dungeons, losing, going up 2 spaces, you could finish the game in 60 minutes if you're just going to lose.
Well, the thing is, the nature of cooperative games is it adds time to a game because we're all discussing and so by nature it's going to take longer. If you didn't discuss anything and just took your turns and played cards, you could probably do it in 60 minutes.
But then I don't say it's a co-op game.
Yeah,
then you're just all going towards a communal goal sort of thing.
You might as well play Dominion then.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought the reward thing was quite interesting, because you had obviously a blind deck of cards with one turn over, and you're like, this reward looks pretty good. We'll just try and churn through that, but you don't know how bad the Gribblies are getting underneath, or how easy some of them are as well. And but I certainly feel you're certainly prescribed to start off at your 1s. Then if you feel like you've not done too good, then you go into your 2s. Then you go your 3s, your 4s, your 5s. And I kind of feel like we did kind of follow that mold. We skipped over some of the 2s and went into the 3s a bit earlier. and then we sort of mingled around the other parts as well. So yeah, I thought it was interesting. I feel like the time scale was a bit of a down for myself, and you can potentially have quite a frustrating game if you don't do the killing blows and gain those extra cards. The rewards aren't big enough to mitigate that happening. And yeah, I think that's pretty much how I'd feel about the game.
Yeah, I kind of. Oh, sorry, but I kind of agree, because one of the things that I was thinking about while you were saying there is because you go around the clockwork, the sort of clockwise situation. It's always going to work out that someone other than you, like if you're the first player, you're not going to get the killing blow. And I feel like just the tiniest tweak, like for example, instead of going clockwise around taking the turns, it should be a choice. Who goes next, so you can manipulate it. Like,
because if you think about in like dungeon crawler games, normally you will have your 4 miniatures on a board in a dungeon, and then you'll choose who activates next.
Yeah.
In a case, actually, I'll do this first because I can do this. Well, rather than the case of we're literally walking in a line, it's like, oh, it's my turn to hit him.
Yeah, exactly.
Move out the way. Next person. Comes along.
And I feel like just that tiny tweak would make it just a little bit more interactive. Because if we know, for example, the reward is going to be a thief-based reward, we can go, right, Muller, I'll do the first attack, then you do the second attack, and then you do the third attack, giving you a chance to claim the card for yourself. Or like in Carla's case, she didn't get a lot of cards, so it was like, all right, I'm going to do a lot of damage because I've been getting a lot of cards. I'll do the first strike, then D, you can bump in with the second, and then Carla finish him off, she'll get the card.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it should have been. I think a small tweak of whoever did damage that round, you communicate to each other and say who's going to get that killing blow, and then they get that card. And I kind of feel like that would be better, because it could be a case they had 12 health, we all hit them. You did 5, I did 3, you did 2, you did the rest because I'm not doing maths, and then we'd say, okay, actually, I think Card should get that card because it's either a barbarian or it fits well with the deck, or it's a thief card. Mola can have that, and I feel like
or simply just a little bit more variety in terms of cards that allow you to freely move your decks around. So something is in Molo's deck, but it's not working particularly well for him, but because of the way your deck is now, he can move it on. There are cards that do that. That facilitate that, but I just don't think there's enough of them.
Few and far between.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like those cards that you're talking about, the ones that allow you to go like teamwork, where you may pick a card from your discard pile and add it to someone else's discard pile. I feel like those are only in the game because of the rich get richer mechanic. And if they tweak the mechanics to make it more facilitate that you can choose where cards go, then you wouldn't need those cards because they're going to the right places anyway.
Yeah.
So I feel like they've added that mechanic in just to compensate for something else that's a detriment.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but that's what it feels like to me. There's a couple of things I wanted to touch on what you said, which I think is quite significant. Obviously the time length of this game. When there's a long game of say 2 hours plus, you want a lot of choices in a game with 2 hour plus. I don't think there's a lot of choice in this game in terms of it's quite random. I want to just take a step back and say I've never played a push your luck dungeon deck builder before, so that's quite interesting. It was different in terms of the push your luck mechanic in a deck builder. But if that was like Dee was saying, a half an hour, 40-minute game, that's pretty fun. In a 2-hour game, that's not so much fun because your choices are now so limited to, I'll just see what I get. I'll see what we fight. I'll see what's coming up. You don't really have a choice. You're just kind of hoping, and I feel like that's quite a detriment to a game that lasts 2 hours.
I mean, I agree with you in terms of the time scale, but I also think that you're touching on maybe a positive for me, which is this is a deck builder, which actually has a fair amount of variability, but actually it's kind of on rails without being on rails.
I think it's on rails.
Which means people that aren't necessarily experienced gamers can comfortably play this. Right? I feel like we're not necessarily the perfect audience for this. Maybe.
Well, yes, you're right. I mean, newer players could play this properly, fine. But wouldn't the frustrating element of the game put them off of playing more games like this?
I agree to a point, but I also find that people still play Monopoly, and that's freaking frustrating. So.
Because every game we played of this so far, someone has been frustrated by the fact that they're not getting cards, and then they're not doing much on their turn, which means you're playing a 2-hour game of not a lot of options to do stuff.
I just think that frustration is born from experience, and you know, when you are not as experienced, when you don't play the sheer volume of games that we play, I think I'm quite intolerant for little things like that now. I want a completely different experience. I want more, I want quicker, I want, you know, I have specific demands of a game now. Whereas I find a slightly more...
Okay.
I have no idea where I was before the child walked through the door, but
I'm gonna cut that bit out.
I think the experience of playing this game is interesting. I think the artwork is lovely. I think it's quite thematic. I think everything works well together.
I think the artwork needs to be more consistent though.
Maybe, but I mean,
it sort of bothers me slightly. You've got the box art's got that sort of like faux, I don't know, like Howl-esque sort of.
Yeah, it doesn't really match the art on the card, does it?
Yeah,
but
and then the cards
it's just
themselves,
the box doesn't match.
Well, the cards themselves aren't completely consistent as well. That is definitely in a somewhat different style there, and it's all similar-ish in feel. I don't know if it's done by the same person, but I would assume so. But it's, I don't know.
You've been pretty quiet, Milo. What's your thoughts on the game?
I thought it was okay. It was a game I could play. It's probably a bit longer than it needs to be, but yeah.
That's the main thing for me. I think if this was a 45-minute game, I would have liked it far more. But
certainly.
just simply because you would have worked through it, the frustration bit is what gets me. I just think, as I said, I'm quite intolerant of that frustration, that part, that length now, which makes it probably a little bit harder than what I think if I was to introduce this to my girly group, who for the most part are more inexperienced gamers. I actually think they'd probably happily play this for longer without much, because they don't have to think too much. And this game allows you doing things at a smaller pace, like a more confined space. And I find that more novice players prefer that because there's too much going on in a more experienced game. And this kind of just slows it down for them.
I probably agree with you there, because I think that's the problem I have with the game, is that there's not enough choice for me.
Exactly.
I feel like the game is playing me rather than I'm playing the game. On my turn, it's if you're the like when we played a 2-player game, and when you took your turn and now it's my turn, I have no choice but to keep mulliganing until I get the required number to defeat the monster, or we're gonna leave. That's not really much of a choice. I didn't design my deck in a way to do anything specific. It's just random what I got from what we fought, because we don't know what these piles are. So you pick up a card and you go, oh well, this is what this is. We have to defeat it, so it's not much of a choice there. And of course,
I don't know if it's for your basic sort of group. If it's a learner game, it probably shouldn't be so long, and I know it feels like it would benefit from having a smaller footprint then as well, so that you can do things around it and converse and have stuff. It takes up a lot of the table as it is. So,
okay, so generally we think this is okay for new people, or people just getting into gaming. But for veteran gamers, we would say this is probably a pass. Is that what we're saying? I mean, how much were you going to give it out of 10, D?
I think I'd happily give it a 6.
A 6? Go.
I feel the same. I think this is something I could play with novice players. I have novice players in my life, so it'll fit into that niche. So I'm about a 6 as well.
Yeah, high 6. It's a solid game. The mechanics are solid. It's something that somebody learning could pick up, but at the same time, it's probably a bit long. So it's not a great learner game.
Yeah, fair enough. I think for myself, I'm probably going to go 5 out of 10, which is bang average, and I'm okay with that because it's a decent enough game to play. It's not a game I would pull off the shelf to play myself, as I said, because there's just not enough choice for me in the game. But like Carla was saying, that this is obviously applicable more to new players, so I'd probably pick something with a little more choice, a little closer to the game length time of what I would appreciate from a game of this depth. Would probably be about half an hour, and you could probably play this in a half an hour. It does have a solo mode, by the way, which I'll have up soon for a preview for the expansion, which is coming out. But yeah, I think it's a decent enough game, but probably give it a pass if you're looking for something a little more meatier. That fair to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Great, cool. Well, thanks for watching. We appreciate all the support and the comments. Yay. So, see you guys next time for a review on Gaming Nights. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye, dear.